On a fantastic Friday afternoon. How's everyone doing? It's the Teddy Bear, and welcome to the zone of Night Tracks Radio. And today's artist spotlight gifted singer, songwriter, and also brand ambassador, Lord have mercy, the very talented Mikayla Lane with her new hit single, And Bush. My queen, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing wonderful. You are so young, but you definitely have a very seasoned soul when I hear you sing.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I want to take you back just a little bit. I listened to your song called Diamonds, and incredible. Your vocal range at this early stage of your career is simply incredible. And I wanted to find out most young people, because I have a son just a little bit older than you, and he's into, hip hop and classic rock. How did you get influenced by such a genre of different styles of country music?
So I grew up in the Western industry. My dad was in the cattle business when I was really little, and I was always around livestock and horses and that sort of thing. So anything me and my dad did together, we were always listening to country music and the stuff that he liked to listen to. So it was always something that I was around all of the time. I was always listening to country music. We listened to some kind of classic rock, like you were saying earlier, but it was mainly country, and I really loved it at a young age. I thought it. Obviously, I didn't really know what I was listening to because I
Right.
was so young, but I really liked it, and I just grew up listening to that, and it kind of stuck with me, and I haven't really changed. I listen to a lot of different stuff, but country is still my favorite, and it's the music that I like to create. So.
Well, the country genre has changed dramatically where you had the standards of traditional country
Yeah,
music.
for
And
sure.
now, yeah, and now where we're at now, it's like the kaleidoscope and Pandora's box has been opened, where you have so many different forms of as far as country music is concerned. How do you see yourself fitting in that? I don't want to say box, but fitting in that right now in today's country music.
So I agree with you that it's changed a lot, especially like the stuff that I listened to whenever I was younger, and then the stuff that's out now, that's in like the country genre. Um, it's changed a lot, and I think something that's really important for me and my music and my brand is staying authentic. And I am more of a fan of like the traditional kind of like Americana, but traditional country, like the George Strait sounding type
Right.
era. And that's what I try to keep in my music while still appealing to the audience who likes the more modern country that's almost like pop country or whatever you'd want to call it. There's a bunch of different kinds now, but I feel like it I feel like there's so many different artists in country music now that have such a different sound that it's helped in a way to include a bunch of other sounds that artists are trying to like, well, I want to be a country artist, but I also like heavy electric guitars. And it's like, well, okay, there's a bunch of artists like that now. So I feel like it's gotten a lot more inclusive, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes like traditional country has lost the authenticity of where it came from and kind of its roots. So I feel like there's definitely a place for everyone in country music now, but I feel like my sound of country music is definitely the more traditional kind of steel guitar fiddle, but mixing some of that modern stuff in there too.
Without question. You mentioned one of my favorite artists, George Strait. Lord have
Mhm.
mercy. You look so good in love.
I know,
I
it's so good.
love when I listen to people like George Strait, Dwight Yoakam, Trace
Mhm.
Atkins. See, that's my kind of my era of music as far as I didn't put them in a country genre. I just really truly loved their music and also their lyrical content because
Yes,
yes, it
and
it
I feel like that the lyrical content you said, I feel like that's something that has also not been really popular recently, just because like the songs are really a lot of them are sometimes pretty shallow and just like cut to the chorus and like a good time song, and I think those are great, but also like I feel like there are room for artists who can tell more of a story with their music, like the George Straits and the Alan Jacksons and whoever else.
Right. I mean, not just country music, but I've noticed just music in general where lyrically a lot of it has been watered down. It's
Yeah,
like, let's go straight to the punch. A lot of heavy instrumental, a lot of guitars, a lot of drum machines, and you're trying to figure out, wait a minute, what happened to the music that really touched me, something that I could relate to. And I wanted to find out in your writing process, what motivates you? What gives you that level at this particular age in your career? Because you have such a level of transparency in your music. How long did it take you to get somewhat comfortable of showing that transparency in your music?
so sometimes it's really hard for me to think of different concepts of songs or a different subject matter that I haven't wrote about before, just because there's not a lot that I've experienced. I've only been here for 17 years, so
Right.
it's kind of hard to pull from like big life altering experiences because I haven't really had any huge, massive, crazy things happen to me that I could write about. So usually, what I pull from when I'm writing is like if I'm watching a show or listening to another song and I hear something, I'll like write it down. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool, and I'll come back to it later. But I'm more of a melody driven type writer, so I kind of hear like a little guitar lick or like I hum something and I save it in my voice memos, and then if I'm writing with someone else, I'll take it to them and I'll say, hey, and I'll play that for them and I'll be like, do you have any ideas or anything we could write about that would fit this vibe? And that's how I like to start all of my songs when I write them, is usually with the melody, and then I write the lyrics for the melody instead of the melody for the lyrics. So that's kind of how my setup works. But lyric wise, I try to pull from experiences like growing up in the Western lifestyle and still living it as much as I can since I'm so busy. But pulling from those experiences, because a lot of people my age that are artists or singers can't really pull from that because they haven't got to experience that. And I think that's something that's cool about my music, is that it does come from an authentic experience of some things that a lot of people sing about but haven't experienced. So I think that's something pretty unique about my music, is um, really bringing the Western elements in there. And you hear that more with my Miles from Nowhere EP, Ambush, and the stuff that I'm gonna release next year, which I'm super excited about. But that's kind of how my writing style goes.
Okay. Family. I
Mm.
see. I hear you speak about family in such a glowing fashion. How
Mm.
important is it to have that level of support, level of encouragement, level of love, especially dealing with the ebb and flows of this music industry?
So it's actually, I mean, it's the number one thing, I think, for me, especially being where I'm at. I wouldn't be able to do anything if I didn't have, and I'm an only child, so that makes it a lot easier too.
Okay.
But don't have to deal with another sibling. But yeah, my parents have always been super supportive and doing anything they can to help me make this dream come true. And it's really hard, I've noticed, if you don't have a support system. Because I mean, you have friends and you have extended family or whatever. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm supportive of your music," but really, I feel like it's hard if you don't have a core support system who's like always there for you, always encouraging you, telling you, hey, I don't think we should try that again, or hey, I think that worked really well. And that's something that's really important to me. And I probably wouldn't do half the things that I've done if I didn't have that, because it's just really hard to do anything without that.
The more you ascend in this industry, it's going to get even more challenging to have that quote unquote me time, where
Hmm.
Mikayla can just be Mikayla, not Mikayla the artist, not Mikayla the performer. Have you kind of set your boundaries up where you can kind of put some me time to the side, where you're just basically being allowed to be yourself?
So I do online school. I'm on my last year of high school. I'm in my senior year, and that has gave me a huge amount of time that I was really lacking whenever I was doing normal school or in-person school. Um,
Okay,
so that has really changed a lot for me, and helped me in the fact that I have a lot more free time. Like if I was at school, I wouldn't be able to have this right now. It's given me a lot more opportunities, and it's really opened a lot of doors that were closed by having to be at school all the time, and I can travel. So that has been a really huge help to the free time thing. And I am pretty busy. I think it's going to get even busier next year, but I feel like setting time aside for yourself is really important because I feel like if you don't, you could get burnout or you could just get like annoyed of always having to do something and always having to miss out or whatever. And
right,
that's happened to me a few times is especially it was hard whenever I went to school because we'd have like prom or homecoming or something and but I'd be in Nashville and that was always super frustrating and it would just sometimes like really frustrate me that I would have to be there whenever all of my friends and like my normal high school life is
right.
back home. And so that's kind of frustrating, but I think I've found a good balance of it. And honestly, doing online school has kind of put things in perspective of what's really important and what's really not going to matter once you're out of high school. So that's been helpful too.
Gotta ask, have you seen the change of the level of success as far as the quote unquote people that you considered as friends and the ones that were just there just to be there, or the ones that all of a sudden now you're seeing another side of them that you didn't expect?
So I whenever we moved to Oklahoma, I started going to a school in Tulsa and I made some really good friends there, some lifelong friends that I still keep in touch with like every day. Um,
Okay,
and I've actually been really blessed with a really good core group of friends. I really haven't had that whole like mean girl experience. That's never
right.
really happened. Um, I have seen that sometimes it is harder to hang out with them or whatever if you don't make the initiative. That's something that I've noticed sometimes. But as far as staying friends and having loyal and kind friends or whatever, I've done really good with that just because my friends have always been there, and it's nice because whenever I hang out with them, it's not like I haven't hung out with them in 6 months or whatever.
Okay.
So um,
Okay.
it's that's been good. So
Well, that's definitely a blessing. 2023, as you just mentioned, is just, my goodness, a couple of months away.
I
What
know.
are some of the goals that you have set for yourself in a new year?
So I have really tried to focus on writing a lot more because it was hard for me to figure out how the writing process works and how to make a song out of nothing. That was really challenging at first, but I have I have grown with that and I just want to continue growing with that in 2023, but I'd like to get a lot more dates on the calendar, actual playing dates with a band and everything. And we've actually got some of those set up that I'm super excited about that I can't share yet, but
Okay.
got some really exciting venues that I'm going to play. And I am putting out a lot more music in 2023. So a goal for me for that is more putting out music more rapidly and not like waiting forever and putting out because I do know that how long the process takes and it is sometimes like dragging on. But I'd like to get a few more songs out there this next year that I did than I did this year. So
Okay.
that's a goal of mine. And then I'd love to get on tour with someone like a smaller artist from Texas or an artist. I mean, I don't expect to be on tour with like a mega artist, but I would love to be on tour with make friends with some artists in Texas that I really look up to because there's some really great artists down there. And I'd love to hop on tour with one of them. So I've got a few goals, and we're gonna we're gonna push toward them this year.
All right. For those who tuned in late, shame on you. But the teddy bear does forgive you. We're being joined by the super talented Mikayla Lane. I got to ask you, Mr. Blake Shelton, what has it meant to have such a revered and talented artist support you the way he has?
Blake is the best. I started out playing the Ole Red venues whenever I was 13. That was my first show here in Oklahoma, one of my first big shows for me at the time. And it was awesome. The people there are still like family. All the Ole Red locations are great. But the first time I actually met Blake was last Thanksgiving when I played a show with the Swan Brothers, and he showed up and he was just the nicest guy. He gave me a big old hug and was like, I'm proud of seeing all the stuff that you're doing and glad to support you and that sort of thing. So he's just a really down to earth guy, and it's an awesome person to have in your corner because he is that way. And his family's great. We've become good friends with his mom because she lives down there in Tishomingo, and we we love the family in that area over there, and Blake has been a great supporter, and it's awesome to have someone at that level on your side and know about what you're doing. So that's been really cool.
Speaking of someone on that level, is there anyone in particular that you would like to do a collaboration with? A dream, a reality collaboration with?
I would love to collab with Cody Johnson at some point.
Okay. 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 We putting it out there, family. We got to make sure it happens.
No, right? That'd be awesome. His stuff is so good. He's an artist that I've looked up to for a while.
Well, remember, family, be sure to get the new hit single, of course, Ambush. It is available as we speak. And to get all the latest updates, let your fingers do the walking. Stop by and actually follow and support Mikayla on her various websites of Instagram at Mikayla Lane Music, also on Facebook. And she is on TikTok. Everyone is on TikTok with,
Yes.
with the same handle, of course, Mikayla Lane Music. How would Mikayla Lane describe her music?
I would describe it as I'm trying to think of my recent. I feel like recently I've kind of found my sound, so I'm trying to think how to describe that. I would say like traditional country with some kind of like spacey, like pretty sound, almost like Casey Musgraves ish, kind of that
Okay.
spacey, pretty sound, but
Okay.
with like Western elements in there. It's I don't know, honestly. It's like a jumble of like a lot of different things, but it's especially the stuff that I'm putting out in 2023 is I'm super excited about. So that's
Well,
how I
we're
would describe
excited.
this stuff coming out.
We're excited. Well, I'm here in Houston, and you know how Houston loves their country music, boys. So,
Yes. Hi.
so hopefully next year you'll make your way down here. We would love to see you perform. I
It'll be
cannot
so
imagine.
fun.
Oh yeah, it definitely will. Again, family, remember support this fantastic artist. And I got to ask you before I let you go, being a brand ambassador, what is that like now?
It's awesome. So I along with music, one of my other favorite things is fashion, and I I was an ambassador for a rodeo that was local here in Oklahoma, but they like it's a really big youth rodeo, and I was at the NFR with them, the National Finals Rodeo in Las Vegas this past December, and there I met Alamo Saddlery, which is the company that I'm an ambassador for and that I have my own line with now.
Okay.
So I met them and I became great friends with Leah. She is the daughter of the owner of Alamo Saddles, and they're awesome. Their location is in Del Rio, Texas, so they're way down there. Um, and we became great friends, and I actually texted back and forth with her for a while after Vegas, designing my own personal like rope can style bag, which is just like a
Wow.
circle and
Okay.
it's like a 3D circle style bag. And
Okay.
it's all leather, all handmade. And she ended up my parents had actually got it shipped to where it surprised me on my birthday this past year. So after that, I was like, this would be cool to continue this relationship and try to do like a collab. And she was all for it. They're the best, easiest, awesome people to work with. And we ended up designing, I think, 6 new designs that are going to be coming out hopefully next year. We're going to have some at the NFR this year at Vegas. And
Okay.
it's been awesome having my own line of an accessory like a purse. And it's been so cool having that, and having my logo on the back is just awesome. So I can't wait for more of these.
Okay.
We just got a few back yesterday, actually, and they
Um,
look so cool. But
has the fashion bug bitten you just a little bit?
just a little.
Just
Just a little bit. I know. My poor dad, he's probably like, you don't need any more of this.
Well, we cannot wait for the line to be available. And remember, you can get all the latest updates. Stop by Mikayla's official website. That's at Mikayla Lane, music.com to get all the official websites. It was an honor to have you on the show. Whatever you need, please do not hesitate to let us know. We are looking forward to having great things from you in the new year, my love.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. The very super talented Mikayla Lane here in the zone of Night Traxx Radio. Remember, family, the new hit single, Ambush, is available as we speak. But I have to thank so many people. It has been a wonderful week of music. Want to send out a lot of love to Brownstone. Thank you for joining us last night. And they have been nominated for a Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance with their new hit single, All I Want. And also, last but certainly not least, that the captivating Samantha J. Lord have mercy. Her new hit single, Push Your Luck, also has been considered for a Grammy Award for Best Pop Solo Performances. So hopefully everything comes to fruition and this happens. Remember, it's about quality, not quantity. Without you, there's no me. I want to thank you for tuning in and allowing me to tune out all the negativity. I want everyone to have a fantastic weekend. And as in always, keep it soulful here on LOTL Radio The Zone, Night Traxx. Lord have mercy.